Bom dia, welcome, bem-vindos in Portuguese. I'm Francisca, Faustino. I'm Portuguese, based in Barcelona. And as you can see, I love to walk around in Barcelona. And one of my passions in life is painting. And because of that, I did a drawing and painting course. And normally I use painting to increase my creativity. And through painting, whenever I feel stuck, to unblock something, I use it as a system or as a tool to improve myself. And not just painting, but also photography. I use it as a personal diary. And whenever I go to festivals, I travel, or I see beautiful things, I like to take analog pictures of it to keep it with me, not just digitally, but to impress it and to have it with me. I'm also part of a magazine, Gazeta Tabaco, and we are a group of friends that already developed 3 editions. We are trying to launch the 4th edition so far. And our goal is to bring all of our artistic friends from photography, writers, painters, to a pocket gallery. So you can bring it with you whenever you want. And because of these amazing projects, I could do my first exhibition. We exposed 16 artists with Galeria do Campo Pequeno. It's a gallery here in Lisbon. And it was an amazing experience to have this as in my hand. But let's put art aside and let's talk a bit about service design, which is also a love that I have. It's a way to bring creativity and practical ways to improve existing services or to improve and innovate new ones. And I'm doing classes in innovation and service design in Elisava, which is a school of design and industrial engineering in Barcelona. That's why I'm there. And before we start, I want to jump in really quickly to a first and very rapid check-in. I want to know, how are you feeling today? So, and I also want to know your intentions for today. So what I want you to do is share on the chat emoji of your feelings before the masterclass and the intention word for today. So I will try to give you my example. If I can find Zoom app, just a second. Wait. Why can't I find the Zoom app? Okay, here. No. So in my case, I would say I'm a little bit nervous. I need to admit with you, and my intention for the day is to have fun. Okay, I can see ready to learn something new. Curious to learn new things. Nice. Does anyone want to share a little bit more as well? Open to new ideas. Get inspired. Cool. Innovation, eager to exchange, learn. Nice. So I can see that you're feeling very positive. I see good emojis here. I can see that you are all in a very good spirit. Amazing. So getting back to the check-in, So now that we are checking in, you're watching my screen, right?
Yes.
Again. Perfect. Now that we are checking in, let's take this masterclass as a journey, airplane journey, okay? And what I want to share with you first is that I shared with you what I am, but you're probably asking what I do. And I'm part of BTE team, so I work with Ana Lomba, Luma, and Rafaela. And I work in BTE for 3 years now. And as me, BTE have been a lot of things. We started in 2011 as a startup community in Lisbon, one of the first startups community in Lisbon. And that's why I every day Betty makes me feel in love with this company because of this, the sense of community behind of it. It's right, it's in the right place since the very beginning and still growing. And I have a story to tell you about community. But before we go there, I want to set the tone for it so you can understand a little bit. So I'm going to share this screen with you.
The word community sounds odd and a bit dispiriting. Some pretty negative images tend to come to mind. When we think about what other people are like, without quite realizing it, we draw on images fed to us by the media. And that's why we tend to think that most people are pretty violent, driven by success and fame, and not necessarily very pleasant. It breeds an urge to stay at home and make private life the center of things. We associate happiness with standing out from the crowd, with personal happiness, the nuclear family, and business success. Community feels like it's for losers. The individual is king.
Still full of running and is cancelled.
But then there are some weird moments. A big sporting event, an election day, extreme weather like a big snowfall, and we might make a discovery as basic as it's absolutely crucial. Most people are very nice. They're interested in small things. They're mild and moderate. They're funny. They're kind. They want to help. Despite some surface differences, they're like you. A painfully exciting idea comes to mind. If we could more regularly generate communal moments, meet people, hang out in groups, we wouldn't have to imagine that the whole world was so competitive and so dangerous. We wouldn't have to be so guarded, closed off, suspicious. We wouldn't be so focused on our own love lives and all their issues. We've allowed our worldview to be kidnapped by the media, by narcissists and sociopaths. We've allowed our sense of what's normal to be shaped by newspapers and television stations that make money from creating imaginary communities of monsters and pointing out everything that's wrong and to be scared of. We've allowed the kinder elements to seem like they're the exceptions, when it's in fact the bad that's the exception. It's time to change. What happens on those special occasions is the truth. Other people aren't strange or so different. We can trust in community. Of course, we need some special occasions, some encouragement to come out of ourselves. We're still too shy. At the moment, we only know how to do it around sport or the odd other occasion. But we should more regularly come together and learn how to do so. We should ensure that the nicest buildings in every neighborhood are the community centers. There's a huge part of us that longs to live more collectively. It's hugely beneficial to be able to feel enthusiastic and committed to one's whole society, to feel reassured by membership of an admirable community. Collective pride takes the burden of self-regard off the individual ego. We don't have to do it all ourselves. We can belong to something better and sometimes greater than we are.
And with this said, I want to tell you the story of Flattery. Flattery is a very small village in a narrow strip of land in the edge of the sea of the West Fjords. Very, very small, as you can see here in the map. But it's a beautiful, beautiful city, village with 200 people, and has sea on the side and the other side the mountains. So it's kind of stuck in the middle of two very natural presences. Normally it's covered with snow, but still amazing, right? Very, very beautiful. At least for the Portuguese people, we don't see snow that often. And in 2000 and in 1995, there was a strategy. There was a strategy where an avalanche came to upon Flattery and leaving a devastation in its wake. And homes were buried, lives were lost, and the village was left relying on from unimaginable destruction. But in the face of adversity, the people of Flattery refused to surrender and to despair. Instead, they get together, they build strength from their shared bonds and collective spirit. So carpenters, architects, engineers, volunteers, all of the people worked side by side, and they rebuilt not just the physical infrastructure of Flattery, but also the sense of community and resilience. This is Flattery nowadays. They built a A-shaped special wall to protect the village. And whenever a mountain deflects, have avalanche for future avalanche, it deflects, and the structure is so well thinked that the avalanche goes to the sea. So they are protected because of this A wall. Okay. In this journey of Flattery, it's really impressive because they were part of this devastating, very traumatic scene, but they were guided by this clear vision of the future. They were fueled by this unwavering hope and the grounded in deep sense of social responsibility. In the end of the day, every member of the community played a very vital role in shaping the village recovery and transformation. And as a reflection of the Flattery, we start thinking and what are the lessons that it offers for the importance of community in our own lives and our own business. And the truth is, when you bring together communities and the sense of community, your service or your product will bring new values to the customer. And that's why I brought you today the elements of value from Bain and Company. As you can see, and as I told you, Flattery brought us the unwavering hope, the grounded deep sense of social responsibility. They had this clear vision for the future together. And all of this because of the community. So they got up into the top of the pyramid. And when you bring your service or product, the sense of community or the community you build, you can bring your value to the top of the pyramid. This is two pyramids, as you can see. One of it is for the business and business products, and you have the business and business to consumers pyramids. So in both ways, you can see and identify why community is so important. In business to business, it's the hope, social responsibility and vision, and in business to consumers is the sense of self-transcendence when they are bringing a social impact to other lives. It's providing hope as well, self-actualizations, new motivations, etc. But it's really important to understand why communities can bring you to the top level of pyramids of values. However, it's still really important to first identify the value of your service. So what the value of your service is what your user needs to achieve, okay? And this is the most important thing. Don't jump to your sphere, get away from your sphere. So you are probably here in your provider sphere. This is the potential value of your service. But what we need to do with service design and with innovation is to jump to the customer sphere, which is the real value of your product. And even if you stay in the joint sphere, yes, you can improve your service or product staying here and identifying which are the topics, pain points, improvements wise that are in the joint sphere. But when you jump to the context of your customer is where you can see the real value of your service, where you can innovate, when you can change and rethink, redesign your products in that way. So there are some takeaways that I want to give you today. Value is not delivered by organization, but by co-creating with your customers. Products have absolutely no value unless customers use them to generate benefit from themselves or to others. The organization can only make value propositions that clients must accept and fulfill when using them as a resource in their own value creation process. And the most important one for me, this implies that clients are actively involved in creating value. So how can we bring our clients into create value with us and redesign and rethink our products? If you build a community, a very strong community, they will be willing to be there for you and to help you to improve, because they have this feeling that your service it's not a brand, is not your service, is their service as well, because they are part of this community. They want to deliver this amazing service as well. Cool, Francisca. This is really nice to know. But what can we do? What are the next steps? How can we start? Of course, my first advice for you is always search more about service design to try to understand a little bit more about it. But a few steps in a very zoom out perspective are starting with your stakeholders map. How can I build a community? Start with your stakeholders map. So identify who are your core, direct and indirect stakeholders. And after that, you can understand in which of the value proposition are they. So my tip for you is to start with your core stakeholders, because probably will be your customers. Try to identify in the Venn diagram, and also you can use the pyramids of elements of value. Start to identify what are the context of these stakeholders. What is their life? Why do they use our service? What is bringing them so sense of community out of it? And how can you do it? By research. So research is a very, very important step for your business, not just when you are studying, but frequently, to understand by interviews, by focus groups, by observation. why are these clients using my service? It's not just because it's beautiful or it's worth it. No, there's something else when you have a community. So when you have a strong community, you can do it is really easily and really fluid. After that, you can build your journey map as is. The journey map is a visual framework where you can put all of your insights from your research, from your community to understand the pain points, and because of that, potential improvements. And when you identify this part, it's really easy for you to understand and to have a strategic decision. Should we adapt our product, completely change our product, completely redesign our product, or should we do it as a baby steps program? So that's why my last action is changing your business model, but it cannot, it also can be step-by-step improvement, innovation, or you can decide it's not worth it. But again, your customers are the ones that telling you what to change. I want to leave you also with two books. There are kind of the Bible of service design. The right one, The Good Service, from Ludon. It's a really good book because it will bring you to very practical measures to identify what does it mean to have a good service. This is service design thinking. You also have the service design doing. There are two books about it. You have a lot of frameworks there to how to build service design and how to start a service design project. And also, of course, the article about the elements of value. You probably know this pyramid by now, but it's also very interesting to get back to it every time that you face some kind of let's say blocks in your products or service journey. Okay, now that the plan landed, we can check out. And why not checking out the same way as you check in? You share the emoji and intention. I want you to share emoji of how do you feel right now, and what will you bring with you? And can be in just one word. What will you bring with you from this masterclass? I will try to. It's my last challenge for you. Nice. I like that we start with a heart emoji on the eyes. Cool. Active listening is very important. Okay. Importance of community. Nice. Engaged focus. Cool. Nice to know. I will share myself as well. I'm feeling really happy. That's that's one of the things that I want to share with you. You can open your mics now and we can talk a little bit more about some questions you may have, any inputs or sharings. If you have any story about your life or your professional life where you were part of a community or you can see the value of community, I would love to know.
think I can start us off, Francisca. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Have a little question for you because I don't really have much experience with managing communities, but I imagine that in some cases it could lead to small conflicts or different visions. Do you have any tips and tricks on how to manage people not having the same opinion on where the product would go, for example, business-wise, in a mature and positive way?
That's a good question. Thank you for asking, Livia. One thing that is really important when you start a community is to set the rules of the community for all members. So all members, when you get in, it's really important to have some kind of workshop, a check-in moment where you identify which are the rules, and you can propose, like, let's say 3 rules for the community, like get inspired, bring new topics every week, and be on time, let's say. And then you open the discussion for the other members to identify which would be the rules they will bring to the table for that community. And whenever they don't agree in some opinions, or they get little, I don't know, some kind of a fight there, you'll bring the rules and you say, this is kind of a contract that we signed in the beginning of this community. So please keep this in mind and be respectful of it. And normally the types of rules that we have in communities, like open space for everyone, opening listening, don't judge, be aware that there are different opinions. So this is the type of rules that we have in communities. There is a very good framework online that you can use to build a community that is named Community Canvas. Okay, so if you search Community Canvas, there will appear a very simple canvas to complete for you to start developing a community. It's really nice and helpful for that.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for your question.
I do have a question as well, Francisca, which is, in your opinion, which are the most efficient ways, like, or formats, if you may call it, to activate a community? So you already have the community created. How do you reach out to people?
That's one of the biggest challenge, honestly, to not just to activate, but to keep engagement from the members. Why? Because normally communities are seen in society, or in corporates, or in startups even, as a second plan. It's not there in their core. Of course, it's not in their core. But when you see that the community really works, you can understand why the brand works. Let's say Harvard. You see that the community they built in the alumni from Harvard is really strong. And everyone knows Harvard because of the alumni. Everyone knows that you have an alumni as a speaker that was part of Harvard, you will go because, and they did it really well because they are an association. So they are different, kind of like another company from Harvard. So they have like this huge team that is focused and completely focused in building the community and engagement through it. So one of the things that I normally share, and one of the things that I see as a potential to bring engagement, is to have like 100% the team focus on it, build content, call the members, have constant contact for the members. If you don't have like the capacity, like money wise, to bring all of the members in person to event, then have a call with them, like individual calls to understand what they value most, what they are seeing, like they could bring like more engagement in the community.
Thank you, Francisca. Yerius, you wanna go?
Yes, okay, Harvard is a good example, but if I could be a devil's advocate, there is a strong brand, and also, you know, the benefit for the participants is quite obvious. While when we're building a community, there is a lot of goodwill. The benefits for participation are not immediate usually. And while the people would like to commit resources to building it, and the most valuable resource would be probably time, they are constrained by that. So it's not just a matter of coordination, but also a matter of scarcity of time, most of all. So I think you have to build an urgency into, and this is the most difficult thing, into the purpose. For instance, in Greece, we are very proud of our communities, but we rarely commit to building a community. When we had the floods in our area, okay, a lot of people commit to that, and then this sort of faded away. As soon as the state comes in, for instance, in those occasions, when people think that somebody's taking care of things, they fall back. Okay. I think that's a counter effect, sort of. It's not just a matter of ownership, it's a matter of, which is, I think, also important, that you own the community and you own the management of the community. Yes. But also a matter of constraints, especially, you know, it may be high on your willingness priorities, but there are other things that draw us away from the community engagement. I think that's probably the main barriers. I don't know if you have any good ideas or case studies of how to go around them. We improvise, of course, but there is all this time, and especially when you have small entities like startups, SMEs, and labs and things like that. Everybody's busy.
Yeah, that's yeah. Thank you for your insights. That's one of the constraints, definitely, the time that new businesses are bringing to the table as a startup. But for startups, I can understand that they have a busy schedule, but for them, they really value the connection, more in early stage startups though. Okay, so they really value the contact. They don't, the contact can even be something in the future, but if they have this contact, they will know that this contact probably will give them another contact and another networking. So for them, networking is one of the biggest things that they really value, early stage startups, okay? Because they are looking for investments, they are looking for partnerships, they are looking for team, they are looking for a lot of things in the beginning. And yes, they don't have time, but they also need this. When you have a scale-up startup, that's where the challenge comes in communities, because they already have all of this set up. They are in a scalability phase, and the contacts they value are not all of them, okay? Are specific ones, are corporates, business units, investors for late stage startups. So whenever you bring them together, you need to be aware of this. And sometimes scale-up startups also looking for partnerships with other startups, but in their stage. So you need to very curate your community. You cannot build a community for everyone or every stage of startups. That's really important that you acknowledge that, Yorius, because you are aware of it. You are aware that specific matters will bring you to specific communities. Anna?
Yes, if I may. Thank you, Francisca. It was lovely. I'm from Romania. I am co-founder of an accelerator program. We're building all kinds of services for startups. I wanted to say two ideas. we have been struggling to build up our community of alumni. First, we want to work with startups, but after they're finishing a program, we don't just disappear. We want to keep them engaged with us. And what we noticed is that I mean, we can consider ourselves a startup too. We have only 6 years old as an accelerator, but your community, I mean, for us and for our startups as well, the community can help you spread the word about your product. They are your early adopters of your product, and they can always give you feedback or help you. For example, with us, we are offering services, acceleration services. They are coming back. They are happily accepting our invitation to engage with younger entrepreneurs or more recent entrepreneurs. They can be mentors or giving speeches, motivational speeches, and they're coming back to us, our alumni. So we help them, but they're always coming back and they help us back. So this is the value of the community. And for any startups, not necessarily for us and as an accelerator, the community is of great value because they are your influencers, actually. If they love your product, they will talk about it, they will spread the word, and they will help you. It is true what Georgios said earlier, that when you are a startup, you don't have time. You have to do everything, as a founder. But I agree with the idea that building the community around your product is crucial, actually, because with no money, with no budget, you can have feedback, you can test your product, you have a promotion, the people is talking about it, and this is crucial for you because as you are small and you want to spread the word about your vision and your product and so on. So yes, it has been an inspiring talk. It takes some resources to build communities. You need to be very frank, very sincere. You have to be on time to reply to any question or message from any member of the community. So you need to be present all the time and to interact on daily, weekly basis with them. But it is of value, so it's crucial for a startup. And yes, thanks a lot for giving me the opportunity.
What I really liked what you say was the mouth of word about your product. So they are ambassadors of your product, and you don't need to pay them for that. That's the nice thing about communities, and builds a really strong community, because again, you are making marketing of your product without having to put resources on it. And the thing about alumni in accelerators is really difficult. In our case, we feel the same, because when they are in a program, an acceleration program, they are very engaged, right? They are working with us, they want to know more about corporates. And when they leave the program, it's a different challenge to build the community with the alumni, because we also want to keep in touch with them. We want to know which milestones they achieve. We want to bring them to future events that we build. So the way that we build a community with alumni, it's really different. And maybe it's not like daily basis focus, but it's like some check-ins from now and then with them. Yes, thank you for your insights, Anna.
And another most welcome, and another benefit of keeping an engaged community. For example, with our alumni, we are having LinkedIn groups, but we are having a WhatsApp group. We have 200 something people, startups there. What I notice is not necessarily our direct help for the alumni, because we are giving them discounts, invitation to conferences, or any news, valuable news for them. But actually, it is a place where they are helping each other. If an alumni has I don't know, I need someone in my team, or does anyone pitched yesterday, it was a question, did anyone pitched at the Poding conference, because I want to know how was the experience, and they're just interacting in between themselves, helping each other. And sometimes the outcomes are very, very nice. I mean, they are collaborating or mixing teams, or finding new members in the teams, or finding investors, or any kind of valuable news for them, or it's really nice. So it's not necessarily us who needs to deliver their information, but in between them, it is a very great collaboration.
That's the ultimate goal of community. When you start a community and you step back and you see all of the members kind of engaging together and collaborating and bringing new partnerships together. Yes, definitely.
All right. Thank you so much.